This is Mr. ASMR with Random Whisper number 19, Canterbury Tales, Part 2, Middle English, sort of. The rule of Saint Maur or of Saint Benet, because that it was old in some district, this ilk monk led all the thing space, and hailed after the new world space. He hath not of the text a pulled hen, that saith that hunters beat not holy men, nor that a monk, when he is reckless, is likened till a fish that is waterless. That is to say, a monk out of his cloister, but the text held he not worth an oyster, and I said his opinion was good. What should he study and make himself in wood? Upon a book in cloister always to pour, or swinking with his hands and labour, as Austin beat, how shall the world be served? Let Austin have his swing to him reserved. Therefore he was a precursor aright. Grey hounds he had as swift as fowl in flight, of pricking and of hunting for the hare, was all his lust, for no cost would he spare. I say his sleeves perfilled at the hand with grease, and at the finest of a land, and for to fasten his hood under his chin, he had of gold erect a curious pin. I loved not in the glitter, and there was his head was bald, that shone as any glass, and eke his face as it had been anointed. He was a lord full fat and in good point, his iron stipe and rolling in his head, that stemmed as a furnace of a lead. His boot is supple, his horse in great state. No, certainly he was a fair prelate. He was not pale as a four-pined goose. A fat swan loved he best of any roast. His palfrey was as brune as is a berry. A frere there was, a wanton and a merry, a limitor, a vil solemnity man. In all the others, for is none that can, so muckle of dalliance and fair langage. He had mad full many a marriage of younger women at his own cost. Unto his other he was a noble post, and well beloved, and familiar was he with franklins overall in his country, and eke with worthy women of the town, for he had power of confession, as said himself, more than a curate, for of his order he was licentiate. Full sweetly heard he confession, and pleasant was his absolution. He was an easy man to give penance, thereas he wished to have a good pittance. For unto a poor order for to give, he seeking that a man is well shrive. For if he have, he durst make a want. He wished that a man was repentant. He wished, for many a man so hard is of his heart, he may not weep, although him sore smart. Therefore, instead of weeping and prayers, men mote give silver to the poor friars. His tippet was a farset full of knives and pins for to 11 younger weavers, and certainly he had a merry note. Well could he sing and play on a rote. Havia dinges I bar outrely the pri. His neck wit was as the fleur de lis. Thereto he strong was as a champion. He knew the tavernes well in every town, and ever rich hostiller and tapester, but then a Lazar or a begester. For unto switch a worthy man as he accorded not as by his faculty to have with sick Lazar's acquaintance. It is not honest, it may not avance, for to dealen with no rich poral, but all with rich and sellers of vital, and over all there as prophet should arise, courteous was and lowly of service. There was no man nowhere so virtuous, he was the best beggar in his house, and yaf a certain firm for the ground. None of his brethren come there in his haunt. For though a widow had not a show, so pleasant was his in principio, yet wolde he have a farthing ere he went. His purchase was well better than his rent, and rage he could, as it were right a whelp. Richt a whelp. In Lovadias there could he much help, for there he was not like a cloisterer, with a threadbare cope, as is a poor scholar, but he was like a master or a pope. Of double worsted was his semi-cope, that rounded as a bell out of the press. Somewhat he lipsed for his wantonness, to make his English sweat upon his tongue, and in his harping one that he had a song. His even twinkled in his head a richt, as down the stairs in the frosty night. This worthy limitor was clapped uberd. A merchant was there with a forked beard, in motley, and he on horse he sat. Upon his head a Flandrish beaver hat. His boots clasped fair and fetisly, his reason he spake full solemn plainly, sonning always the increase of his winning. He would the say were kept for anything. Betwixt Middleburg and Orwell, well could he in a strange shelde sell. This worthy man full well his wit beset. There was no wicht that he was in debt, so stately was he of his governance, with his bargains and with his chevisance. Forsooth he was a worthy man withal, but sooth to say, I not how men him call. That's the end of part 2. Well, I'll go a little longer. Okay. A clerk there was of Oxenford also, that unto Lochic had long ago, as lame was his horse as is a rake, and he was not right fat I undertake, but looked always and thereto soberly, full threadbare was his overes good to be, for he had gotten him yet no benefice, ne was he so worthy for to have office. For him was never have at his bed's head 20 books clad in black or red, of Aristotle and his philosophy, than robes riche, or fitel, or gaisotry. But albeit that he was a philosopher, yet had he but little gold in coffer. But all that he micht of his friend's hand, on books and on learning he it spent, and busily gan for the solace prayer of him that hath him wherewith to scholaya. A study took he most cour and most head, nocht a word spake he more than was need, and that was said in form and reverence, and short and quick, and full of eye sentence. So ninga in mortal virtue was his speech, and gladly would he learn, and gladly teach. A sergeant of the law, war and wis, that often had been at the Parvis, there was also Foderic of excellence. Discreet he was, and of great reverence. His saints which his words weren't so wise. Just this he was full often in assise, by patent and by plain commission, for his science and for his high renown. Of face and robust had he many on, so great a purchaser was nowhere known. All was very simple to him in effect, his purchasing micht not been in fact. Nowhere so busy a man as he therenas, and yet he seemed busier than he was. In terms had he cast and dumes all, that from the time of King William were fall. Thereto he could indeed and make a thing, there could no wicht pinch at his writing, and every statute could he plain by rote. He rode but only in a medley coat, girt with a saint of silk with parasmala, and of his array tell I no longer tell.